What's up, guys? It's Steve here again. Um, yeah, so after my most recent and first video, actually, where I told my personal coming out experience and story, I figured I'd make a quick follow up to that. Um, and basically, this is like the Too Long Didn't Read version of that. I'm just gonna. The point of that video was, so I could help anybody out that might be, thinking of coming out, or people just want to hear my story. And so for this video, I'm gonna, you know, give some coming out tips and tricks based on my previous experiences. So with that, let's get started. So the first and probably the most important thing is just relax and take a deep breath. Is going to be a very nerve wracking experience. And yeah, I mean, I've been there too. It's the several minutes leading up to you finally telling your friend or your family member that you're gay. It is very uh, nerve wracking, and you'll feel like really nervous the whole time, and your heart be pounding. But just relax and stay calm, and that's probably one of the best things to do when coming out. Um, Keep a cool head, basically. The next thing is, and this is a really important thing, make sure the person you're coming out to is, they're okay with you being gay. Because if they're like really like against it and like homophobic or stuff like that, it's probably not a good idea to come out to them just yet. I mean, you can come out to them eventually. Just this is like one of your first few times coming out. I'd probably like find someone else that you know is more supportive of you. Just because it'll make the process a lot smoother as you go on. Um, like I when I came out to my parents, like I told you, it didn't go well. I knew that they weren't like 100% okay with it from the start, and that went pretty badly. And looking back now, I probably would have waited a little bit longer before I told my parents. It was probably a little bit premature, and it resulted in a pretty bad experience. So you want to make sure like you come out to people who are okay with it first, build some support as you go along, and gain some experience. So continuing with that, you might ask, how do I tell if somebody's okay with it or not without getting in the way? Well, what I do when I come out is I like to ask my friends. I tell them just something I need to tell you guys. It's like a super like deep secret, and I think like a couple of my friends like figured out immediately what that meant, but most of my friends actually had no idea. So they'll ask me what the secret was, and I'll give them three guesses, and it is with that three guesses that I kind of gauge what they think about me, kind of, and they'll give me their guess what they think it is. I think like the most bizarre one is like someone thought I was like some kind of like secret agent or like some kind of like secret axe murderer or something. But if they happen to guess that like you might be gay, um, you can pursue that a little bit further. But don't make that the first thing you pursue. Go with one of the other ones. Like if they say like if they think you're like a criminal, you'd be like, so what if I was? And then that whatever response is, and then you move on to the next one. So and what if I was gay? And that's when you find out what their feelings are with that. And if they don't guess it at all, then just throw in some other like wall theories, like like what if I was an alien, and then you work your way towards the what if I was gay thing, and then you move past that so that they don't quite suspect you. So that's a pretty good discreet way to figure out, if your friends or family are okay with it, and from there you make the decision if you want to continue further. Um, Another important thing is you should only come out initially, at least just come out one at a time. Uh, there's no need to like go right into like a huge group. You don't need to call forth an assembly and like announce it to like everybody at once. I made that mistake multiple times. I told you in my previous video I made a YouTube video wanting to like come out to as many people as possible for experience, and too many of my friends in real life found out, and it just spread like wildfire, and it was a mess. And then made a mistake again with my parents, where I came out to them both at the same time, and both of them were pretty against it at the time, so that also didn't work. But in hindsight, even if I did come out to one of them at a time, they probably would have gone straight to the other one, and So with the parent thing, it probably doesn't matter too much, but with your friends and maybe other family members, take it slow initially, just one at a time. Baby steps. Slow and steady wins the race. And actually, with that, once you gain more support, more acceptance, and more experience, if you want to start coming out in groups, I highly recommend you do it like when you have friends around you, because they'll be there to support you, and it's probably one of the best things to have with you when coming out, and it'll help ease the nervousness and tensions. Actually, in some cases, I'm like too nervous to like do it, so after the three guesses thing, I I try to like get my other friends to tell them to come out for me, but of course they don't. Most of them don't, so they just make me get it over with. So you know, always have friends around you when you want to do something like that. Now, before you come out, you should be prepared for the consequences. Essentially, there may not be consequences at all, but there is always that potential if you're coming out to somebody that's kind of iffy on a subject. So you want to be, emotionally prepared for anything. One of the things that may come up is, they could ask you a lot of questions. They will drill you with like question after question. Like when I first came to my parents, actually their first question was what, and from there it just kept going on. Just try to explain. They just drilled me with more questions. They're like, don't you know that gay people get AIDS and stuff like that? Or like, are you sure about this? Or are you sure you're not just confused? Or so on and so on. And some of their questions might really hurt you and offend you. So, just be prepared for that. I was asked a lot of pretty deep and like painful questions at the same time. And, I was not prepared at the time. And I ended up getting a little angry and just like storming out of the conversation and going to my room and just locking myself in my room and basically crying myself to sleep that night. So you do want to be prepared, because it could be very hard sometimes if your friends or your family are not very supportive of you. Um, so you know and on top of that, some of you, I was fortunate that I did not have to experience like a worst case scenario, but for some of you who are in like different situations than me, you might want to also prepare yourself for a worst case scenario. And going off of that, when you come out, but this goes for anyone too, not just if you think of a worst case scenario, but it's always good to be prepared. But have a backup plan. You know, have like a friend's place you can go to crash for the night, or just somewhere you can go just in case it goes bad. Um, because God forbid if you were to like get kicked out of their house, or forced to stay on the streets, you know, you wouldn't have like anywhere to go. You might have like no money. It's a bad situation to be in, and it's a terrible thing that it happens to some people. It's really terrible and sad, but that's why just be on the safe side. Have a backup plan. Have somewhere you can go, somewhere you can stay. Until you sort things out. And ultimately, even if your friends or family aren't supportive right off the bat, it's not like the end of the world right away. Give them some time. A lot of them will most likely come around eventually. You've been friends with them for a long time, or they've been your family for a long time. So just give them time, and Just, keep talking to them about it. Answer the questions if you have to. I know like they could be asking you like some really dumb or like offensive questions, but just try to bear with them. Give them time, and they'll give you time, and eventually things might work out for the better. And finally, the last thing and another very important thing is, regardless of whether it goes good or bad, just like the backup plan, you should have someone you can talk to. Like a friend or another family member. Um, someone that can, someone that will support you, um, no matter what. Because if it goes wrong, and it's it could put you in a really bad place, like emotionally, and just like with my experience, I it put me in a pretty bad place too, and I just didn't feel like I wanted to live anymore after that point. I felt like my whole world came crashed down. But I had someone to talk to. I had like my friend on Xbox Live, who played Halo with me all the time, and uh, thanks to him, I talked to him so much, and I'm really grateful that he was there for me whenever I needed to talk, and that really helped me get through those um, several years after my bad coming out experience, and things did get better from there. And things are still going today, and I have a lot more supportive friends now, and yeah, it's basically always good to have someone to talk to. And if your common experience goes well, very well, then that's terrific, and you can share that story with your friends, and you have a good story to tell. So yeah, that's basically most of the advice I have right now, based on my own personal experiences. I made a lot of bad decisions when I first came out, the first time I started to come out, and I'm hoping you guys can learn from my experience, and I hope this video helps you guys out. Alrighty, well, I think this video is starting to get a little bit too long, and that's basically all the advice I have to give for now. But I really appreciate you guys stopping by again and checking this video out, and I really hope I've been able to help you guys out again. Um, if you like my videos so far, I got a lot more stories to tell, a lot more advice to give in the future, as well as a bunch of other videos I'd like to make. Um, so feel free to subscribe and um, drop by anytime. And if you guys ever need someone to like talk to, or if you need like more personal advice, feel free to message me. You could drop in the comments, or you could message me directly. I'm here to help, and I'll do my best. I'll give you the best advice I possibly can. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time, and I hope you'll subscribe, and yeah, have a nice day. Bye, guys.